JARScast.
Welcome to JARScast.
Woo!
This is one of your Jarsians, Cat Dream.
I'm June.
And I'm Delta.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what we got? I'm nervous. What do we have on the agenda?
Bruh.
We've been talking for like 2 hours, and as soon as we hit record,
Help,
Yeah,
help, help.
Yeah, you looked at me like I was supposed to say more. I was like,
No, you were fine.
I got nervous.
You are definitely not messing up right now.
No,
you're fine.
Don't worry about it. You're not choking at all.
Yeah, you're perfectly fine.
So,
No, you're fine.
anyways, how's your day?
Yeah.
Doing this,
How-
doing the neck cutting across the table.
Yeah, just like
You're
saying
doing fine. Okay?
my voice is really happy, but in real life I'm like mean mugging you. I'm like, it's fine.
You're doing okay.
Yeah, you're perfectly fine. And it's like holding up a knife, pulling out a gun.
Don't worry about
No.
it.
Okay. Anyways, how were your days? Anyone want to start?
I
us
asked
off?
first.
You did ask first, but we
You just flipped it on me.
We fully ignored it to
What?
threaten
Okay.
Cat Dream more for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You want me to answer first? I can
Yeah,
answer
yeah,
first.
yeah.
My day today has been fine. Nothing
Thank you.
special, to be completely honest.
Thank you for your complete
Yeah.
and entire answer.
Yeah, it was a great answer. My week has been funny though. I expected it to be a very lazy week. It has turned out to be not a lazy week.
Same.
I put in a lot of work on the podcast. I'm sure you all have noticed all of the new additions that we made in episode 1 and assumedly this one as well.
Yeah.
That took a lot more effort than it might appear.
That's a very.
Thank you,
that's
Delta.
A really
Let's
good,
go.
Thank you, all of us. Woo!
That's a really good intro animation. Who did that?
Yeah, I wonder who the credits lists as the intro VFX.
Luma.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, it's been all right. It could be worse. I finally read a book for the first time in like 4 months.
hell
What?
yeah.
Okay, wait. What do
Yeah.
you read? What do you read?
I mean, it was a light novel, so it wasn't like
That's a book. That's a book. That's a
It
novel.
was How Not to Summon a Demon Lord.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
Me when I do my Latin homework and it's all wrong.
It's actually funny because I was talking about it to a coworker of mine, talking about How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, just because he picked up the book I was reading. He was like, I read this, or I watched this a while back, and I was like, yeah, it's been so long since I watched it. How long ago was that? It must have been like 2017, 2016. No, it was like 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that made me like look through my old like watch list, because I was like, I feel like I do this a lot where I overestimate how old the anime I used to watch was. Turns out when I was watching anime 4 years ago, 6 years ago, I was like really like on time. I was watching things that were actively coming out, and I didn't think that I was, because like the first couple things that I watched were like Fairy Tail and Dragon Ball Z, things that had come out like a little while ago.
Yeah.
So I just kind of assumed everything that I was watching was kind of, at least a couple years old. But no, I was watching things that were actively coming out, and I just
Is that
didn't realize it.
because your sense of how much time has passed since those years has also evolved? Meaning that like we think that like, oh yeah, 2017 is like old, but then you realize that, like, dude, 2019 was like
2019
6 years ago.
6
That's
years
horrifying.
ago.
Nobody like that is a long time, because we don't
God.
think about 2019 being 6 years ago. So like obviously we're like, oh yeah, it must be like 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
No, 2015 was 10 years ago, Delta.
I-
No.
A decade. A decade has gone
We've
by.
already talked about this.
And we will keep repeating it because it hurts me more than it hurts you.
Yeah,
I think
my life is segmented into like early YouTube days from like 2013 to 2016. Then like my happiest moments, 2017, 2018, 2019, pre-pandemic, 2020 through 2023. It was just a blur. It was
Yeah.
like 1 month long, 3 years
Yeah.
of COVID time.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's a government out there. I think it's South Korea maybe that like offered to shave off time, like your age, based on how long you spent in quarantine.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're like,
Is this
oh,
real?
I don't
I
know.
think so. I think I read that. Maybe it's like BS, but like, but I think
Cat dream when he reads fake news.
Yeah, I think I saw this on Twitter. I might be lying.
no, I saw this like a while ago where they're like, oh, you spent 3 years in quarantine. We'll shave off 3 years of your like,
honestly
age if you
same
want to.
though, dude.
I mean,
same.
I feel
no,
that.
because
Yeah.
it's like when we were in quarantine, our sense of time is completely gone. I still to this day don't believe the years 2020 to 2022 existed. Never happened.
I
Never
genuinely don't remember anything that I watched or played
It's
during
all
that
a
time.
blur. All of it is a blur.
Yeah.
It did not process. Like the fact that time had passed just did not. The world stopped then. And I think
Yeah.
it's like one of those. You know how like we have like fixed points in time that are just like key events that are
Yeah.
like defining moments in history. You can see before and after. Like in American history, we divide recent history as like before 9/11, after 9/11.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
This was off that level. This is like pre-COVID, post-COVID. Like
Yeah.
our lives have never been the same since.
Yeah.
And the worst part is that it was a fairly long-term event.
Yeah. And
Like it wasn't a moment. It was like 2 or 3 years.
don't
worth.
worry. And then Gen Alpha will be asking us questions. So what did it feel like to live
What was
through?
it like before
Yeah.
COVID?
Papa, what was it like?
I think we're currently on Gen Beta. The beta males are coming.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, when did that
I think
start?
I think Gen Alpha.
It was this year, wasn't it?
I think
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
this
Yeah,
year,
this year.
like
Dude.
really late last year, where they're called.
My God, a
Generation
whole
Beta.
generation of
I can
betas.
I
That's
can
crazy.
imagine Gen Alpha like making this a massive meme in like under 5 years once they start getting
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
age
yeah.
where they can like make memes and have edgy humor.
Yeah, yeah.
Because right
Alpha,
now,
dude, Alpha's already doing that.
how
yeah.
Alpha is like
How old?
15 and 16.
really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
No,
No, like well,
Wait,
yeah,
no,
I thought it was a little younger than
wait, no. Maybe I'm lying. Sorry. I think Gen Alpha starts around 2010, right? They're
the-
15.
The Gen Alpha
Oh
kid
my
that I
God.
babysit's
Gen Alpha, the
11.
oldest generation, Gen
Okay.
Alpha is 15.
Maybe once Generation Beta starts to get a little older and they start to get online, like I feel like it's gonna be a Gen Alpha, Gen Beta thing where they're like, we're the Alpha generation, you little Beta losers, and it's just like they're talking shit to like a 10-year-old online.
I mean,
Piece of shit. You stupid idiot.
I babysit a Gen
Gen
Alpha.
Beta.
I babysit
Get
like
baited.
a Gen Alpha kid, and he has like quite the fucking mouth on. I'm like, wow, where'd you fucking learn to say all this shit?
TikTok.
It's literally just like I'm talking like some like 4chaner in my car.
Oh yeah,
my
I was
Yeah.
on TikTok the other day and they were saying slurs.
No, but the thing, they're
Yeah.
not, they're like, see, that impression that we have, like, this is also an example of like time lapse. That impression you made is like what you would imagine
That's
a
what
kid.
my parents thought of me when I
No,
was on YouTube.
But like that's what an impression of like an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old. Dude, these kids are in middle school. They're in high school now. They're in high school
Yeah.
now, 9th and 10th graders.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
That is
true.
terrifying.
It doesn't
Horrible.
feel real.
Dude,
yeah.
COVID ruined my the way I process time passing.
it's
I
not
feel
even
like.
just that, because it's like the time lapse is one thing, but also like we have a bunch of people, kids that and people who were in college that like missed out on those social connections that were
Yeah.
normally typical to the fact that you could communicate, the fact that you could be in the same space. Like
Yeah.
going to school is our social life for that age.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
go. You don't have a social life. It's very difficult to build a social life without that.
And that's
And-
that's the only reason why I didn't have friends in high school, and there were no other reasons at all.
Yes, Delta. We will blame it on that alone.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's
was
crazy.
just the fact that COVID happened, not that I was an anime
No,
fan
I
or
don't
anything.
know how anyone could have. I don't know how I would have done it. I got very lucky. It was my last semester of college that it happened, and I lucked out. And it was very funny because I was only taking 2 classes, and one of them was part of like a research on hikikomori, which
Oh,
is
wow.
Convenient.
which is very convenient. And so
Congratulations, everyone in the world is now
Yeah, yeah.
hikikomori.
and so one of the things I touched on in that paper, and I actually want to write this paper eventually, is I want to look at the statistics of mental health within hikikomori and compare that to the rates of mental health problems that people had during COVID and see are they distinguishable? Because my guess is that they are not.
I feel like I could probably help with that at
Please,
some point.
please.
Yeah.
The paper has been sitting on my desktop for years now. And I need someone to like be like, dude, what are you doing?
I need to read that manga that's about the Hikikomori girl that's like she has like the long white hair.
Which one?
I'm not sure.
There's so
No
many.
game, no life.
No, but it's like she lives alone, and there's like this one panel that stuck with me forever where there's like the first panel is her playing Mario Kart with her friends when she's younger, and then it cuts to when she's older.
And then it cuts to
she's
her
in-
old. I've seen that before. I don't.
I need to figure out what manga that is because
Yeah.
I really want to read it.
It might be like a one shot
Maybe.
if you saw on like Twitter or something.
Yeah, and then there's like gags of her like taking trash out and she's terrified and stuff like that.
Gags. It's just trauma.
Yeah.
Man, this is really funny. Just like
Yeah, it's like Watamote. Watamote was I almost couldn't watch Watamote even though I love it because it was just so fucking cringy. Like have you ever seen it?
no.
It's about this girl that has 0 friends. She doesn't shower.
Is it the shut-in vampire?
I'm not sure if she's a vampire.
Like this guy? Like maybe not this one,
No,
like
she doesn't look like that. She's kind of like
Okay, I don't know.
yeah.
I just kind of like looked it up.
If we find it, we'll put it up on the
Yeah.
podcast.
But
video for
Watamote is like
people.
a definite must watch, but like the cringe is very strong.
I
With it.
think okay, so I've not seen it, but from what I've heard is that like it was a very fresh take on like shut-in and like introvertism, and a lot of people liked it for a few episodes, but it got old very quickly is what I gathered.
I don't think so. Like it kind of got its fan base back because she's like successful now, and now she has like a Yuri harem.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry,
wait.
what?
Wait. This is starting to, strangely enough, it starts to sound familiar after you said that.
And one of her,
I feel like I saw someone get upset at the fact that she's successful now. It's like I thought she was supposed to be sad and a loner.
No,
Yeah,
what are you
she's not
doing?
like me
I feel
anymore.
I feel like I recognize someone getting mad at this.
And one
It's like it's like disencouraging Bochi to
Yeah.
make friends.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're supposed to
She's
be
not
sad.
relatable anymore. She has friends now. I don't have
What?
But it's so weird because like one of the girls in her Yuri harem is like a girl that's like has the face of an emoji.
Huh?
Huh?
Like her eyes are like just 2 lines going down.
Oh.
And she makes
sorry, I was
very
thinking
sad
like
I
laughing
think I
crying
have
emoji.
seen that.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Wait,
it sound like weirdly familiar?
Yeah.
Her name is Emiri, I think.
Hold on.
Emiri.
Like Emily, but
Yeah, it sounds-
katakana'd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Watamote
I think
emoji. Let me see.
This is
We are all searching it up frantically.
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Yeah, look how cute she is. It sounds terrifying, but look how cute she is.
Let me see.
I don't think I have.
Dude, I've seen this before.
I've never seen
Yeah,
this. Sorry.
it's super,
we will also put that image up that he just showed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Post that in our chat so we can put that on the
so
on
that
the
we
video.
remember to do it.
Yeah.
But part of the humor is she makes like these really like exaggerated faces, like her face changes a lot, and I think it's really, really funny.
Yeah.
Is it-
So how are your days?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That
It's
is
been
what
like
we were
10
talking
minutes.
about. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I did like 20 hours of voice tracking. Like,
Explain what that means.
well, I was basically doing 20 hours of work, and yeah, it's rough. It totally fried my brain.
Yeah, you work with
Radio.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yippee.
Yippee.
It's all fun and games until it's your job.
Yeah. Well, just I think it's mostly a fun job, but like just when you're like the only person pulling your weight some days, it gets like insanely frustrating.
Boy, do I feel that pain.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
the only thing I've had to keep me going is like my gamer subs titty milk and like this cherry coke I have.
Bruh,
I poured out the gamer subs titty milk before I drank all of it. I think I'm feeling the repercussions of that.
He didn't get enough
Titty
caffeine.
milk.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that. Yeah.
So I just got back from a week-long conference, and this week was supposed to be my very productive week, and it was very productive, but I did not realize how much work behind I was. And I have been in a hole, and I have barely crawled out of it. I think what will probably happen today after this podcast is I'm going to go home and work on the rest of it. I am very close to being done. I got most of the stuff that I really wanted to do, but I unfortunately really wanted to be ahead, and that did not happen. So
rather than thinking, okay, once I'm on track, and after this busy week, I'll be ahead. It's, I thought I was on track. Actually, I'm behind. Now I need to use this week that I thought I was going to get ahead on to catch up.
Yeah.
And it's very tragic because that is unfortunately just the story of my life.
Yeah, I feel that so much.
Yeah. I totally feel that. That's also like a recurring nightmare I have is like
oh no, not more.
Is like I
dream and
always
nightmare
I
talk.
always dream that I have like a math class that I forgot about that I'm taking, and it like
Is this in
freaks me
between the
out.
zombie ninja monkeys?
Oh yeah, between that.
Callback.
But like that's like once every maybe 3 years is the zombie monkeys, like once every 3 years.
Okay.
But like I have frequent dreams of like that or my teeth falling out.
What?
Oh, I've heard of people. I feel like that's a relatively common one.
Yeah.
Your teeth falling out?
Yeah.
But I got this dream
don't know
because
why.
of like this horrifying bit I saw in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where like one of the characters pulls his teeth out and they keep falling out, and it freaked me out so much as a
Yeah.
kid.
That movie is interesting.
TV show, yeah.
Or sorry.
Wait, what's the name of it?
Did I say movie?
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
It's a sitcom.
It's a
Or is it
great
just a
anime.
comedy?
You should watch it.
It's a great anime.
It
my
is an
favorite
anime
anime.
though.
No.
No,
It's
we're
not an
fuck-
anime.
we're
It's a
fucking
live
with
action
you.
TV show.
Yeah, it's like an American thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
America? I mean, what?
yeah, it's
What?
the premise is all of the main characters are kind of like bad people and are like doing anything they can to win a quick buck.
Yeah.
It's the one with the guy who's like a conspiracy theorist who has the memes about him. He's like on the wall, like hitting the wall.
That's
with
where
all
that's
the, like,
from?
strings
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things
That is
like
where
that.
that
Yeah,
I had
that's-
no idea.
That's one of the main characters.
It's-
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
so funny
You should
'cause-
watch a couple of the episodes.
Yeah.
Just to like get a vibe of it.
to
It's
get-
really good.
Yeah. To give you like an idea of what the show is like, the first episode is called "The Gang Gets Racist."
Oh my god.
That is
what?
true.
That's
That
the
is
first
true.
episode.
Yeah. No, it is.
The
it is,
first episode is okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
It is very funny. We
Mhm.
we need to watch it sometime. It's really funny.
We should, yeah.
But,
Workaholics is also great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, it sounds like everyone has had a wonderful week so far.
Very productive and sad
Yeah.
week.
Productive and depressed.
Mhm.
That story of my life,
The story of our life.
except
For real.
minus the productive part.
Aw. We've
I'm
been
only
productive
productive.
with this podcast, though.
That is true.
We've been productive at least in one sector. We're not hikikomori yet.
Yeah, I still
Yeah.
have 2 friends.
Oh,
Oh, and
Aw.
neither of them are us.
we, oh,
Yeah, you guys are my coworker.
Oh,
We
Yeah,
have-
no.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
but
cool.
yeah,
Well, where we left off last episode, we only made it through about a third of our favorite anime list.
Mhm.
So I feel it is best to try and continue that trend of making it perhaps 1/3 more of the way through.
1/3 of the remaining,
Yeah.
and then we
Yeah,
will
and
never
then-
reach the end because we'll keep
It
doing
just
1/3.
tapers
Just
Yeah,
tapers
we
off.
did 1/3, and then we do
You're like Xeno's Paradox.
1/4
You'll
and
never
1/5
reach
and
the
1/6
end.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
1/7. We start
So-
doing like subcategories of each anime category.
okay. So how many are we doing?
I was thinking voice crack. I was thinking we could try and do another 3 and 4, see where that takes us, because assuming things go like last time, we will not have time to finish
Right,
the rest,
right.
since we have other things to talk about too.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just go for it. Today's list is going to action, adventure, and mecha. Spoilers.
And maybe horror.
Potentially horror if we have time.
Yeah.
So yeah, action anime. This is perhaps the most
General.
vague, general. Well, you know what? I feel like adventure is honestly a bit more generalized.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
favorite action anime.
So mine, I assume this counts, is Mahoka Retose.
Do they fight?
Yes.
Is there conflict?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Good, cool. Thank you. Have you guys heard of this?
What's
It's the magical high school of the irregular or something.
The incest one.
Yes. It is in fact that one.
Don't
yes.
worry, I also like this anime.
I also partake.
Okay, to be fair, the first page and episode is very suspicious.
Yeah.
But it is very good. It is what I would describe to be, imagine if God decided to go have a high school experience.
Oh, yeah, that's a fair way of putting it.
Right? This is a monster, a machine, a literal I can't say literal, not actually a god, but like
A figurative
deity. Literal deity. And he's just incredible. He's so versed in like this magic, which is this science, the technology that was developed at the latter half of the 21st century.
It's like a sci-fi.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi that basically it's sci-fi-izes magic essentially.
It's the saying that like sci-fi technology is magic with extra steps. Like basing itself within science.
Yeah.
This is sci-fi that is unashamed to say, yeah, this is just fucking magic.
Yeah.
So is his sister/lover
Oh,
also
God.
a god?
Okay.
No.
No.
So the sister is there. She is very competent, but she is not a god.
No.
And also
She is not the irregular.
she is also not the love interest.
Oh.
Even though some of the things they do is like they'll like look at each other kind of suspiciously, but nothing actually happens. I promise.
They were just roommates.
They were
They're
just roommates.
Literally. Right? They were roommates in there.
They were they lived
Okay.
together for sure.
It's been a while since
Yeah.
I've seen it, so.
It's don't worry. It's also been 10 years.
Oh, no. Stop. Leave me alone. Don't say that as if I'm the old one here. We're all suffering. You laugh, but on the inside you're like, it has been 10 years.
The funny part is I distinctly remember watching the first season when Golden Time came out concurrently. And
Wow.
there it is.
Yeah, dude, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're done for.
It's over. It's so over.
You laugh, but I see the tears streaming down your face.
Oh.
Don't hide it from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good fights. It's basically like because the technology is so powerful, and there are constantly competing people, groups, geopolitics plays a role in this thing. There's frankly, I wish there was a lot more world building, but that whatever. It's just really good, and I don't even like. The thing is, I don't even like the show for its plot necessarily, or even a majority of its characters. It is the idea of magic itself as a scientific concept, something that could be done, captured, used. That idea is something that I really liked, and I mean, no surprise there. I'm a science person, so I like when
I'm a science guy.
I'm a science guy. So like,
Thank you, Bill.
Thank Bill. Yeah.
So it's kind of like
June guy, the science guy. So of course I'm gonna like when I see the progress of science moving in the direction that's like, wow, these things that are fantastical are actually, things that
we can explain and control.
Yes, exactly. And I really like that. And also, the way they explain things, it was back in a time when I was still learning Japanese, so it's a treasure trove of new complicated words I remember using.
Yeah.
I will say, have you seen Dr. Stone, right?
Yes.
Because this is how I feel about Dr. Stone, except it's less of the fact that it's like literally magic explained by science, and it's more of science that feels quite fantastical.
Yeah.
But once you break it down, it's like, I guess this is theoretically possible.
Well, it's not
do
even.
You like Dr. Stone? By the way?
I do like.
I feel
Dr.
like
Stone.
I've heard you be like, I don't know about it.
I like Dr. Stone because more so, again, it's like one of those things that I'm not. I like the general flow of the plot, but there's no real character that I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I love this character. But
That's
what
fair.
I do like about Dr. Stone is that one thing I would like to do is that I would like to go. Basically, they take very primitive technology that we've kind of forgotten how to do. Like, how does one make soap? In our modern world, we've sort of forgotten how to make very basic
Yeah,
necessities.
I like that the anime is literally named after soap,
Yes.
and it's like almost an afterthought. But in the one moment that he makes it, he's like, "This is perhaps the most powerful invention of human history." And he's holding up soap, and
And
his
he
friend's
says,
like, "What? Are you-"
Dr. Stone
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah. He
And,
says,
and his friend's like, "Really? It's just soap?" And he's like, "Yeah, this is we've taken for granted perhaps the thing that has saved the most lives ever."
no.
True.
But
yeah.
it's
That's
crazy.
people like let me put that into context for
Yeah.
you. Up until 1900, cities did not grow in population because there was actual population growth in the cities. More people died in the cities than its own population grew. The
Wow.
reason why cities grew after 1900 or before 1900 was because people
migration.
kept moving to the cities for
the
opportunities.
birth rate of the
Yeah,
city
yeah.
was lower than the death rate,
That's so crazy.
but
The-
people kept
I didn't
moving
even
in.
know
And
any
the
of this.
only reason why cities started to rapidly grow in 1900, the reason why we went from like 1 billion to 8 billion now,
Yeah.
is because we discovered two things: soap and soup. And it was the first time that cities actually grew off their own population.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is the growth that we saw from in the 20th century.
Yeah.
And it was up until then, it was literally just the fact that we figured out that you needed to be clean and use soap to prevent illness.
Wasn't that a thing where it's like there was one group like earlier in history that would consistently do things like wash hands?
Well,
That was like
no, so
made fun of for
there
like,
were
why would you do that?
Many groups in Europe and
Yeah.
in Western society were made fun of because they were bathing. So there's two examples I'll name.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
For example, in the I think from the 1300s-ish to the 1400s, during the Black Death, most Europeans did not wash. They washed maybe once a week, and they believed that bathing regularly would cause illness, make them to be sick. The problem is that if you don't bathe and is the plague outside, you will die.
You will die.
And a third of Europe did die. Do you know where it did not die? Warsaw.
country. Oh wow.
Because
Warsaw
they
was
bathed.
untouched because much of the Warsaw population was Jewish.
Yeah.
And Jews have a practice of hygiene, good hygiene.
Yeah.
And so they prevented themselves from falling sick. Same thing happened in the United States when the railroad was being constructed. A lot of Chinese immigrants came.
Right.
And Asians in general, Chinese, Japanese, Indians, have had a long history of bathing multiple times a day. And when the Chinese came to the U.S., they brought these customs with them. And the Americans were like, why are you bathing every day? This is,
Lunacy.
lunacy, they saw that as backward.
Yeah.
Not realizing that, they are not getting sick, but you are.
Yeah.
I love the idea of like, take a look at this guy. He's bathing like once every 5 days. What's wrong with him?
I cannot imagine what the Chinese must have been thinking. The Chinese immigrants that came over, seeing all these people not bathe.
It's like the meme of like, look at this idiot, and the other guy's just like standing there normally, where the guy who's like, look at this idiot. There's like literal like clouds of filth. It's like he's not bathed in a month.
But so going back to your Dr. Stone thing, I think the reason why I probably prefer Irregular over Dr. Stone is that while it's a very similar concept, I think in Dr. Stone, because it's primitive technology rather than future technology, it failed to capture my imagination, I think.
That's reasonable.
Right.
I've never seen Dr. Stone, but I like the idea of like anime girls with big eyes being unevolved. That's so funny.
What?
Huh?
Cause like the anime girls that he like frees, they have like gigantic eyes, and they're like that's the connection. I've never seen the show, but
Is this like a meme?
But the connection I made in my brain was the older ones that he freed have like the big eyes, and so they're unevolved. They're not as evolved as him, to where because he has like smaller eyes, right? Or am I just making?
I have
up?
no idea.
I do believe you have been lied to.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I thought. Okay, never mind.
I don't know. You know what it is? You know what it is? Are you talking about like the villagers?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what it is. I
The
know.
villagers are
No,
like several generations older than Senku and all the people he frees.
Do you know what it is? They basically it was like a time lapse. So Senku was like born or came out of the shell 2,000 years later, and those people and the villagers are like 20th generation something of the people that actually survived. But do you know why they have bigger eyes? I know what he's talking about. It's because they're American.
Oh, that's hilarious.
This is like a little bit of a spoiler. But what it is that like people, the spell did not affect the people in the International Space Station. Yeah, and the two blonde girls are descendants of this American woman, this blonde American woman that was on the ISS, a singer. And that's why they probably have the bigger eyes, because it's like Western, because it's American eyes versus Japanese eyes.
Yeah,
this is gonna get into literally like very baseline biological anthropology concepts. There's something called genetic drift, where if you isolate a population to where everyone has like the same parents in a small community, they will all adopt the traits of those two parents. So if there is like, for instance, if a parent has
about incest again,
no, we are talking about genetic drift. It is no, we're kind of.
Oh no!
I mean, who are their kids gonna fornicate with? Don't think
don't
about it too hard.
like
I mean, this is the anime podcast. How
No!
can we not bring it up?
No. Let me talk about it in a scientific way. Take the emotion out of it. So if, for instance, one of the parents if both parents have like red hair, so their kids have red hair and everyone has red hair, this is probably a bad example. They're all gonna have red hair.
Yeah.
That's how red hair exists in like Scotland or whatever.
Scotland and Russia.
And then, so for instance, if one of them has like really big eyes and their kids have really big eyes, everyone's gonna have really big eyes because they don't have the chance to have offspring with people who don't have big eyes.
Yeah, right.
It's like that. But at the same time, there are people with small eyes. It's just that how the mangaka draws women.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Understood.
But anyways, enough about Dr. Stone. You said a regular at Magic High School.
Yeah.
Your favorite action? It was action, right?
It was
action.
action,
This
anime.
is gonna be very normie, but I really like Chainsaw Man.
It's normie, but that's because it's really good.
Yeah, I just feel like it kind of has like that like Western grit to it, maybe, because it's almost told like it's almost like a perfect blend of like Western storytelling, maybe, and
do explain. I want to know what you mean by that.
Well, it just feels a lot more like grounded, and like characters kind of act more like real people, I would say.
They're morally gray.
Yeah, they're more morally gray.
And they do things that aren't like
over the top. They're kind of more reserved and everything.
They do things that normal people would. I feel like I will say this about Chainsaw Man and about certain anime. A lot of the times when you read a story, the things people do in the story are things that further the plot.
Yeah.
I find that really, really good immersive anime have their characters doing things that kind of don't mean anything to the wider story.
Yeah.
This is why I like slice of life a lot, and this is why I feel like a lot of anime. This is going to be a deep pull. One Piece. Early One Piece is really good because they had a lot of filler episodes where they couldn't further the main plot.
Yeah.
So the filler would just be the crew like getting along and bantering and doing like daily, like living their lives on the ship.
Yeah.
And it helped you connect with these characters more because in real life, not everything we do furthers our career or our lives in and like our
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I like about OG Dragon Ball 2 is like it has so much filler to it, and nothing was really taken seriously compared to like Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball felt a lot more like a slice of life, and I like that.
Yeah.
But like I really like the grittiness of Chainsaw Man 2 and how like so many things like blow your mind. Like everything is like a twist and turn.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh my god. But
That's
it's not
fair.
like over the top, kind of like how I view Game of Thrones as. Like I kind of view Game of Thrones as like over the top, twist and turn kind of.
Yeah.
But like it's more reserved, and like every death has a lot of weight to it, I think.
Yeah.
Like there's
That's
still
fair.
characters that we missed today that were in season 1. You're like, man.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not seen more than the first season, I think. So, to be fair, I've been spoiled a lot by Twitter memes, but
same here.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's no. I feel like I find it very difficult to be like, oh, that's a normie anime. That's a bad take. You want to know why they're normie? Because most of the time they're really good in either just in general or just in particular, like, like for instance, Demon Slayer gets a lot of flack because it's a very simple anime. The characters are not like really deep or like really fleshed out, but it's beautiful. The animation is perhaps some of the greatest you will ever see in anime. The music is wonderful. The sound design is incredible. The fights are good.
Yeah.
Sure, substance-wise, it's a little lacking, but that's like, is that really that big of a sin?
Yeah,
And I think a lot of like, if you look at the manga sales that were made of big shonen like One Piece, Bleach, and whatnot, Demon Slayer actually beat all the records, previous records. It was huge. It was widely popular. I think Demon Slayer, the movie, Mugen Train,
It
also
broke records.
broke record.
Yeah.
It is I believe it is still the #1 movie of all time, animated movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it beat
Wow.
everyone. I'm pretty sure.
The only thing about Demon Slayer that I don't like is I think that the eyes are gross. I don't like the eyes.
What is with you and the eyes?
I don't know.
You've been complaining about the eyes.
I don't like the way the eyes are drawn, but that's just me.
See, that's
But
interesting.
everything
'Cause I
else I
really
love.
like the way the eyes are.
I
drawn.
like the eyes too, dude. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I find
you're
I
wrong.
find I
I'm
find art
sorry.
styles that are like kind of geometric to be very appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Their eyes have like sort of
It's
like
definitely
a blocky
different. I respect
look.
that.
Anyways. But yeah, I find it perfectly fine to find normie stuff good because like it oftentimes it's because it is good
Yeah,
that they are so popular.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's fine. For me, I had a hard time actually deciding whether I would put this one in action or adventure, because the one that I have written for action and the one that I have written for adventure are very interchangeable. And the main reason why I'm putting this one in action is because the other one, you will see why it is an adventure.
Right.
So for action, I put Osama ranking.
Yeah.
Ranking of Kings.
Oh yeah.
I feel like this is very underrated, and I know why. Is because the art style is very like Doraemon, Crayon, Shinchan. That's the title, right? It's like it's like very like kid anime, like coded, I guess. It's the art style is very, very stylized, and I feel like a lot of people saw that and were like immediately like, "Oh, this is for kids." It is not for kids.
Yeah.
This show is not for kids at all, and it is shockingly good.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it and how good it was.
It's incredibly unique, and the bond between your two main characters, which is like the young prince and the little shadow dude, is very, very good. I think it's just an overall really well made anime, and it's just really the characters and the relationships between the characters are really well written, and the fight scenes are all very interesting. They're all very unique because the main character he's just like a little guy, so he and in the show
It's like watching Yoda fight.
kind of in the show it's called Ranking of Kings.
Yeah.
There are a whole bunch of different like almost comically themed kings, like, oh, this is the king of hell, this is the king of this is the king of this, and he's the prince, and he's trying to become like the heir to the throne, but he's really weak, he's really small, he has a speech impediment.
I thought he was
so people
deaf.
he
Oh, okay.
sorry,
okay.
I forgot. He's deaf, that's why he can't talk. It's it's been a while now since I've watched this, but it's just really, it's very, very good. It's very heartwarming, and the people feel like real, like the characters are written very like realistically, I guess, the way that they react and act in regards to things, and I just think it is an anime that I feel a lot of people have not watched that I feel like should watch.
Yeah. It's definitely been on my list, but like I will admit that like the baby MC definitely makes me go,
It put me off at first. I don't know why I ended up watching it, but I gave it a chance, and man, it's a real tearjerker. And both of the OPs are really good.
Yeah.
Especially the first one.
That's kind of how Free Run feels to me. Like Free Run is also kind of like a tearjerker for me, but like not actually a tearjerker. It's like more very kind of solemn kind of feeling. Yeah. where it's like, oh, everything is dying around me. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my action. Bit of an unconventional one, but
yeah, it's a good pick.
Okay. Shall we move on to adventure?
Yeah.
Sure.
You want to start us off again?
What do I have? Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, that's a fun, interesting reaction.
Uh-oh.
So I put Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, you motherfucker! You did this because of me, didn't you?
My favorite.
I don't know what you mean.
My favorite
Just
comedy anime
go.
is The Boondocks.
Damn right it is.
My favorite comedy anime is Family Guy.
Let's go.
I love The Simpsons.
Let's go. Wait. Wait.
It just means animation.
Just animation. No,
Yeah.
so people draw the line of where anime is. There's a famous 3x3 box. You can be like content, style of animation. Very, very standard, kind of standard, and just like what the hell?
Yeah.
Versus like from Japan adjacent, and then just not Japan, nowhere in Asia.
Yeah.
And so, Avatar falls in the category of pretty Japanese in terms of animation, but it is American made, and it is contentious of whether or not that is anime or not. I'm very much of the camp that if it is a Japanese in style, that it's Japanese in style specifically, like Japanese style, that it is an anime. I even will go on depending on how dangerous I feel that day. I will even go as far as to say that Japanese, depending on how close it is, even like Chinese anime and Korean anime are also anime because it adopted that very similar style, even though it is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But Avatar: The Last Airbender is very Japanese. It came at a time before a lot of the Korean and Chinese anime came out.
Oh,
and so
long before.
Long before. I grew up on it. I was a kid when it came out.
Yeah.
And so it very much used a lot of the Japanese animation processes, and it's very heavily influenced.
Yeah.
And it's, if you've not seen it, I don't know how you've not seen it. But
I've only finished
you've
the
had your
first arc.
chance.
you've had your chance. You're
to
getting
see it.
spoiled now.
Yeah.
It is
Yelp of pain.
about a 12-year-old that basically
Very anime.
I know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
Young shonen.
Shonen protagonist who's going to change the world.
Bald, unfortunately.
Who's going to capture all the Pokemon. And he basically has to travel around the world to learn these skills to basically, for lack of a better word, actually, bring world peace essentially. That's as good of a summary without terribly spoiling as I'm going to get.
No, it's not bad.
And it's great because every episode, as you said before, a lot of the episodes are slice of life. It's just about them going to this place, talking, meeting people, very wholesome. And every story is like a self-contained vignette.
Yeah.
And it's about developing each character and developing the place. There's so much good world building. It's actually one of the best world building I have seen in any anime.
And I think that it accomplishes that by allowing each of the characters to do their own thing for a lot of the anime.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to do like adjacent storylines and just like I feel like with a lot of anime, you're following the main character and you're stuck with like, if it just followed Aang's perspective and everything, and we just saw things from Aang and everyone was always with Aang, it would not be nearly as good. But it doesn't do that. It's more than willing to follow other people for significant amounts of time.
After everything you said, I definitely need to get past, like, I finished the first arc where they leave the ice village or whatever.
It's one of the few shows that I'd say gets consistently better
Okay.
per season,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I guess, like, the real, like, justifier for me on what's anime or not is if, like, the one that kind of broke my brain, because I had, like, a very stiff way of thinking about anime. But when I went to Japan, I saw Ruby manga and Japanese bookstores with the other anime, and that's like, oh, okay, so they kind of view it as that. I don't like Ruby, though.
I've actually not seen Ruby.
I haven't either. Yeah.
I guess
I've seen it around.
the animation's what really is off-putting to me because it's very rough.
Yeah.
And when I see
It's very early CG anime, which,
Yeah.
you know, you got to commend it for trying.
yeah. Also
But-
made by YouTubers.
Which, again, got to commend it for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, why is it your favorite, like, adventure specifically?
I think it's because of the likability of all the characters. There's also a factor of nostalgia. This is
That's fair.
you could claim, depending on what your definition is, that this is my first anime.
Yeah.
The anime that I really, really followed. I'm pretty sure, like, because this actually predates me discovering Sonic and all those characters
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So this was.
Man, it really is that old, huh?
It really is that old.
When do you know when Avatar came out? Like 20.
It was.
Well,
No.
2006 probably.
No,
Wait.
I
6?
2006
I must have been
probably.
first or second grade at the time.
Oh my God.
So
I think it was around
But
the
yeah,
time that
sorry.
Teen
No,
Titans
2012
came
was
out,
way too late.
maybe.
after the last.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold
You
on.
brought up something very interesting, which I will say after we find out when this came out.
2005.
2005.
I was close, super close.
Yeah.
It's almost as old as I am.
Oh my god! I
Yeah.
remember it coming out because I'm like an old man. I'm 27, so I remember when
What
it was
I'm going
coming
to
out.
say, let me put it this way:
Go ahead.
when I recorded it on my on
VCR.
DVR, I recorded it all on VHS cassettes.
See,
Wow.
that doesn't date me that much because I also used VHS as a kid.
Okay.
Look, I was poor. Okay.
Did
Okay,
you
that's
have
fair.
the orange Nickelodeon ones though?
No,
I had,
dude,
I had
no.
burnable,
Yes,
all
dude.
black,
V-
unmarked
Are you
ones.
kidding me? Are you kidding the Nickelodeon Splat? Who was rich enough to afford that?
Dude, I watched The Never-Ending Story on VHS 100 times because it was one of the few official
I've
VHSs
never
I owned.
seen it.
It's not very good, but it's like very liminal dream like.
I vibe with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like the movie Labyrinth. That's a cool
the
one.
other thing is that there's the likability of the characters following them, and the incredible world building. Like there's Avatar: The Last Airbender is a self-contained world, but there is more. It's so good that when they made Korra, they actually went back and explained so much more of the world, and there are things that like were explained in like season 2 or 3 of Korra that were shown visibly in like book 1 of
Yeah.
Avatar.
Yeah.
Like for example, like that famous scene. I think it was actually book 2. Sorry. Like that famous scene where like Zuko's going through like the earthbending country and he like sees these gigantic circles in the field. No context, no explanation. They're just there. Like they're just remnants, relics.
Yeah.
They went back and explained exactly what happened there. That was a huge battlefield that happened like 10,000 years ago.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. No more spoilers.
Again, you've had your chance.
You've had your chance. It's been 2000. You've had 20 years.
Okay, June, I have 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Legend of Korra?
Moving on.
What do you think of the M. Night Shyamalan movie?
I've not seen that one.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
It's
It's
so
such a
awesome,
great movie.
bro.
No, I have a third question. What do you think about the Netflix series?
I've never
Oh
seen the
no!
Netflix
It's-
one.
We don't talk. Oh wait. The series or the movie?
No, there's a new one.
Okay, so
The live action
I have
TV show.
not seen the new series,
I have.
and I've heard very poor things about
it
it.
is
Did not
perhaps
get
it is
renewed.
potentially as. I don't want to say it's worse. I feel like that might be going a little far, but it's probably around as bad as the movie was.
Wow, that's surprising.
It just ruins the 2 things that you liked. Or the 3 things that you liked: the story, the characters, and the world building. It's all
God
out the window. Bad.
damn it.
Yeah, and it's
I feel like
it's,
we
it's
should.
terrible, and I loved every second of
I
it.
feel like we should have
Okay.
an episode where we specifically watch bad Western adaptations of our
Oh,
favorite
I'm
We
anime.
down.
could react like a reaction video.
I don't think we could do that.
Oh my god.
It would have to be like behind a paywall on like a Patreon thing.
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
can't do that sort of stuff.
We should
Okay.
stream the M. Night Shyamalan film in here.
That's fair.
We could do that.
We
Yeah.
could find a way.
Mm.
But yeah,
To
Can rent a projector. They got projectors in the media pool I can rent out.
to
okay.
answer your question, I'm not in the hate Korra camp, if that's what you're implying. I didn't mind it. I think I liked the original Avatar Well, they both have their strengths. I actually like the sophisticated nature of Korra a lot more than Avatar, but I think I like the likability of the characters in Avatar more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't watch through Korra very much, but from what I did see, I just didn't jive with the characters, and I thought their relationships felt a lot less
There was
authentic.
a
It
little
felt faked.
Well, there was that, but then also it's when I was watching it, the thought came to me that the audience here is very much the original crowd that watched Avatar as a
They
kid.
tried to make it to
that-
more
And you
mature.
can't
Age,
feel those
well, that
people.
age they also aged. I grew up with it.
Yeah.
And I was a high schooler watching Korra.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's trying to aim at me, a high schooler, watching this.
I want to watch. I don't. You want to know what the original was aimed at? Also, me now in my as an adult.
Oh yeah.
Don't age it
Yeah.
up with me. It was fine
Yeah.
as it was.
I feel like that's the doomed thing about rebooting all these franchises like they do now is like you're never going to top the original. You're never going to appeal to that audience really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to top the original when you're trying to base what you have off the original and
Yeah.
then changing it.
Yeah.
That's tough.
One of the only ones that could do it was Blade Runner, I think. Blade Runner was the reboot of that was great.
Yeah.
So I've actually not. First of all, I'm not seen Blade Runner. The other thing one more thing about Korra, and then I'll promise I stop. Is that what I did like though about Korra was that it was it handled a lot more heavier topics.
That's fair.
Right? Like think about it, like North-South divide,
Mhm.
racism divide, discrimination. Those were way heavier topics that were like
They
briefly,
were there in
Yeah.
Avatar, but they were not nearly as
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, not saying there were not heavy topics in like Avatar, dude. Book 1, like I think episode 4, they showed what genocide looked like.
yeah.
Whoa.
Right, that is crazy dark for an
Yeah.
audience of 6-year-olds. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the way they explained it is so good. It is a perfect explanation
Yeah, you're talking
of what
about
cultural and people genocide looks like.
yeah, you're talking about when they went to the air temple.
When they looked at the
Yeah.
air temple, yeah,
Oh, wow.
exactly. But I think it was, while it was always there, it was never focused it was never like the primary focus
Yeah.
of that season. Whereas a lot of these social fundamental problems, structural problems in society, were the main problems of focus in a lot of these in a lot of these core things. Like for example, like the idea of monarchism versus anarchism versus democratism, or things like such as industrialization versus ideas of nationalism. These are very deep, complicated problems that they were probably aiming towards a more sophisticated, mature audience, and that is one aspect I do like about it.
Yeah.
And with that, I will stop.
Okay.
I will say, again, continuing on with this conversation, because I feel like just to balance out your pro Avatar anime, I will briefly say I am in the camp of not counting it.
Sure.
But I am also
Me too.
not in. I don't subscribe to a black and white anime, not anime. This is why I talked about it plenty last couple episodes. Anime adjacency.
Sure.
I believe that it is in a gray zone where I would not call it an anime. It has deviated too far, but it is not without anime qualities that have, of course, heavily influenced it. I find it difficult to call it anime, but yeah, I feel like it's
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in that community of folk that think alike to you, I think refer to anime such as this as a quote anime inspired cartoon.
yeah, I don't really like that
I
description.
also
Yeah.
I don't like the word cartoon. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah,
feel like a
cartoon's
cartoon.
not-
yeah,
Because when I think cartoon, I think like Looney Tunes.
yeah, you think
Yeah.
of children's
well, not
Yeah,
Or
even.
even-
Japan
or in,
goes
like,
to
old-
Japan.
old
Yeah.
animation.
Yeah, I think of like Mickey Mouse and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
To me, Avatar is like more similar to like Teen Titans, or like not like more mature, but more like cartoon, like that era of Cartoon Network's animation, like in animations and cartoons. And
I miss
shows,
that era.
and like Adventure Time. It feels like that era. I feel like it more closely relates to that sort of stuff,
I
while
feel-
still inheriting a lot of themes of anime. Anyways,
Avatar and
we should-
Adventure Time very much opened the gate for like storytelling for like a younger audience.
Yeah,
I think.
long term stories that don't end per episode.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, your adventure?
My favorite. This is gonna be very corny, but my favorite adventure is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
You know what? I might as well say mine now. My favorite adventure is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and that is why I
hate
put it
both
in
of you.
adventure because it's called adventure.
Yeah.
And what? Why?
I really like I just feel like it's so different from I don't even really call it shonen because it feels so different to me, where it's so wacky and all over the place, and also each season, each
One
part,
might describe it bizarre.
yeah,
Oh my god.
it's bizarre, but also like I really like how if you're not vibing with a certain season, just wait because it'll change next season. You'll get a whole new cast mostly, but I really like how
Except Jotaro, who's
how
there in like every single season.
I think that's a spoiler. I can't say that. Never mind.
Yeah, it is similar for me. JoJo is just it does so many things either differently or just in a way that other anime are afraid to. Like, for instance, changing its main character and its main cast every season.
Yeah.
It's completely different. Sometimes, like a 100% completely different cast. Most of the time, like most of the way different.
Yeah.
But they're all still, of course, like connected.
It also feels good for my like monkey brain because like I get the reference where I'm like, oh, Bad Company. Oh.
Oh yeah,
band.
our Western music nerd here.
Yeah.
I just find there's a whole lot of passion and heart in JoJo's that it, of course is in plenty of anime, but there's just it's just a love letter to everything about itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the stands and a lot of the powers being named after songs that the mangaka likes.
Sure.
Yeah. That's what I love about Hideo Kojima's work is that it's very like in love with itself.
It's
and
very
much knows
personal.
itself.
But yeah, its art style is perhaps one of the most unique just ever. Like it is very much inspired by a lot of old like battle anime, but it takes its own it's gone its own path, especially as the seasons go on, as it evolves its art style. The power system is like completely unique. I don't need to explain stands to you people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I just find the characters to be very, very well done.
Yeah,
especially as things go on. Like season 4 is my favorite. Diamond is Unbreakable is my favorite because it takes what the series in its entirety from that point and even afterwards has been very like large scale. The stakes are big. The characters that everyone's fighting are these huge villains. You're saving the world. Part 4 is like there's a guy who kills people sometimes in a small town.
Yeah, David Bowie's out here killing
David
people.
Bowie is stealing people's hands.
Yeah.
And I just find it every single episode and every single season and everything about it is so refreshing.
Yeah.
And it's so well done.
And I really like how in part 4 how the town is its own character. Like it's very lived in, and you know where everyone goes.
Yeah, it feels like you're in a real place.
Yeah.
Like whenever I visit a part of a subsection of my family lives in a small town, and you can tell everybody knows everything and everyone in this town. Yeah, there's like at most 1,000 people there. Everybody knows where everyone knows everyone. There's like a gas station, not a supermarket, not a grocery store, like a grocery store. Like a tiny grocery market. Like it's just so I feel like after visiting that town a few times to visit my family, Morio just feels like, man, it really captures that. Anyways, sorry, tangent. We have to move quickly here.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough time for 4. Are we gonna try and shoot for 3? I guess.
Yeah. Let's do. What was the next one? Was it Mecha?
I mean, if it's Mecha next, then maybe we do have enough time for 4.
Yeah, we can. Well, you say that, but we have so much more after this that we want to talk about. Okay, Mecha anime.
Mecha.
Okay. So my favorite is Suisei no Gargantia.
Suisei.
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 brain cells activated.
Yeah.
So it is not about Suisei. I'm sorry.
No.
It's about basically future Earth. I'm gonna say this because this is a good anime, and I'm gonna try not to spoil this. It is about future Earth, and basically it's about future humanity. There is a war between humans and space octopus.
Okay.
And there's someone crashed onto a random planet. Turns out the planet that they crashed on is Earth, and that had been lost for millennia. And Earth, in the meantime, has just turned into this gigantic water world. And this robot basically that had crashed is there and is from what I'm remembering is essentially like this person, and this robot is basically befriending the people of this little like village water ocean community.
Is this the one that has like the nerd kid and like the girl that has like she has like a darker complexion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And
I'm very interested. I've never heard of this, I don't think.
yeah, it's a bit of an older one.
Yeah.
Hers amazing.
Yeah, not as old as Avatar, but
don't say it like that.
Really, I thought it was older than Avatar.
No, I promise.
Okay.
I think. Jesus, don't say that. Older than 2005, there's no way.
No, the Secret of Blue Water.
No, there's no way. And it's just really good. It talks a lot about like it talks about very deep cutting things like what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to discriminate? What is racism?
Yeah.
And it's like these kind of like meaningful questions that are talked about, and it's like, right? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
That's my spiel.
Yeah. So
Next up.
Yeah, my favorite mecha is Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Okay. Why is that, huh?
I think it. I really love the dark concepts that it deals with. I relate a lot to it as a person that struggled a lot with anxiety and childhood trauma and things like that. And also, I really love the June's gonna hate me for this, but I like the mixed media aspects of it. I really like how it's like is very different. Like there's nothing quite like it except for another Hideaki Anno anime called His and Her Circumstances. That's kind of like that, where they have like a whole episode that's done with paper cutouts and everything. I really like that.
It's like Bocchi the Rock. The blender throw.
I need to watch it.
Yeah.
I need to watch Bocchi the Rock.
You not
haven't
seen
watched
Bocchi
it?
the Rock?
No, I've never seen it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Get this
you
man to the movie theaters right
should.
now.
I will lend you the first volume of the manga if you want.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll read the manga.
Yeah.
We own it.
Our friend June probably has more to say about Evangelion than you do, for perhaps the exact opposite reasons.
Oh, you're biting your finger. I'm worried now.
Go on.
It's like you're
Say
super
it.
It's
villain
really
pose.
funny because Delta over here has been eyeing me this whole time. They're looking back and forth between Cat Dream and myself.
Because I know.
I have some rather strong opinions about Evangelion.
You can be blunt about it. You can be the villain of the episode.
You can be the villain of the
Yeah.
episode.
Let the
Dude,
comments.
I was rambling about Senku for like 20 minutes.
I think the one people might dislike the most is the Avatar as an anime
Oh,
take. I
that
think
could-
that's the one.
That's all. I was also rambling about
Yeah,
that.
That's
yeah.
Maybe I am the villain of this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, it's all right.
You're doing a super.
You can be the
villain
heel.
pose just
You
a
can be the
second
heel.
ago.
Oh no. Okay, so I will say very briefly in my I promise it'll be brief.
I'm counting right now.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Mm.
I was very like Evangelion is widely acclaimed to be an inspirational generational anime. It's one of those anime that basically all of Japan has seen. Everyone knows the references.
And
Everyone has seen
Brazil.
the memes.
It's
and
a
Brazil.
landmark.
It
anime.
is a landmark anime. It is unfortunately the anime that has somehow like popularized like Gundam, which is crazy because it's not a Gundam. But anyways,
Yeah.
not a Gundam anime. But it just became that way. And
For a newer generation, definitely.
right for newer generations, exactly. And it has all of this hype and this, and it just simply does not deserve any of it. I've heard so much about it.
I would just want people to notice how he didn't say anything about this being his opinion. He hates it so much that it just is that bad.
I hate
It
its
is-
existence.
It is not a feeling.
It's
This is
the
a fact.
it's the Family Guy meme. It insists upon itself.
Yeah.
No,
I know you want to be nice about it. You don't. You hate this anime.
No, it is very rare that I actually say the word hate. But I
Yeah.
hate this anime.
It is very funny to me.
And-
because most of the time you will say for anime that you like, what I would describe as don't like, you're like indifferent.
Yeah.
But you truly,
It's not it's like bad anime exists. Well, this is also like bad in a subjective sense. So what does it mean to be bad or whatever, right? But like me precluding that before Delta says that I'm saying this all is a fact. There's nothing in the world is objective, right?
Obviously.
Right.
Obviously. But like precluding my statement.
Yeah.
Before I just like bash this shit. But so like quote unquote bad anime exists where it's just like, what was the point? What happened? That is fine. These anime exist, and you're right. I am indifferent. But the reason why I think I'm more heavy with my opinion about this particular anime is because, despite it having a lack of a lot of features, a basic feature tenets of like maybe a plot, maybe actual animation, maybe not the same 5 GIFs they play over and over again for the last 25 minutes, pretending that this is something deep. r/I'm 14 and this is deep. And despite all of this, people exclaim like, "Oh my god, this is the most incredible anime it is!" And I think
it's less about the quality of the anime and more about the reception.
It's
of
the
it
reception and the
popularity.
fact there's such high reception,
Yeah.
and people keep recommending and telling me how good. Maybe I normally for most anime I'm very indifferent, but it's specifically because there is such hype and such wow factor. But like, oh my god, look at all of this metaphors and similes that Anno used that like incorporated Christian iconography and stuff. Like, excuse me, Anno has specifically said on multiple occasions that he has put all of this iconography because he thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
Multiple occasions he said that he has no idea what any of these mean. The stuff that has been extracted out of that anime is entirely made by the fan base, what they interpreted those scenes to be.
Which, to be fair, is
I think that's something special.
To be fair, there are two, it's like what the author intends and what the audience receives are both valuable.
Sure. And I think there is some communication there,
Yeah.
but it's just so wildly one-sided.
Yeah, that's fair.
That it almost looks like a troll piece that people have hyped up to be this masterpiece.
Yeah, this is my favorite anime, Nyan Neko Sugar Girls.
No, it's like that level of things. Like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And it seems like maybe I'm crazy here for like being, I assume, one of the very few people to feel so negative about this anime. And I feel like I must be going crazy at times, but I just do not understand it.
That's okay, yeah.
And then the other thing is that, the ending was very botched in the original anime, and people have tried to convince me that, no, you should watch the end of Evangelion, the new movie that came out like some 10, 15 years
It's an
later.
amazing movie. It's
The
one of my
new-
favorite movies.
And the thing is that I have not seen it. That is a movie, I will admit, I have not seen the movie. But the thing is that if I were to judge or watch the movie, I would judge the movie for the movie. I cannot then retroactively critique and change my judgment of an anime that has thus ended some 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
fair.
like a lot of people do that, where they're like, no, you don't understand. This is how he wanted it to end.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but did it? Was
No.
that the ending? No, it wasn't. So what are you doing taking this ending and retroactively placing it on this
But-
ending? That's not how it ended.
But the ending, but the end of Evangelion is not the end. There's 4 other movies you have to watch after that.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
I think that is probably the main thing that has put me off from watching it. Is I despise it when media is too afraid to have an ending. That is probably my main issue with playing a lot of
Because they
visual
want
novels.
money.
Yeah, just give me the correct ending. I don't want all these choices.
If you watch the new movies, though, they're not cash grabs. The first one is kind of a cash grab, but everything
It's
after
a
that.
visual novel. You get to pick your own ending.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Give me the best one.
What was that? Sorry.
Sorry, I'm ranting about visual novels.
I actually
I don't like it when
did
I
not
get
know there was
choices.
actually other movies besides the
Yeah,
end of
no,
I thought it was
there's-
just the anime, like the original like 25, 24 episodes, and then
Yeah.
there are other 3 more movies.
Yeah,
I mean-
yeah. And they're all endings.
They're
Yeah.
all endings. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
What?
yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
who knows which one's the correct one? I don't fucking
Well,
know.
it's. I don't know if I should spoil it or not.
It's been 25 years.
I have not
well-
watched it, and I don't plan on
Well, the new new movies are the definitive ending. Like it's the hard. This is the end.
for real,
Which is what they
this
said
time,
the
on
last
God,
time.
no cap.
it. Which is what they
for-
said last time, and the
Yeah.
time before that, and the time before that.
Just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Miyazaki retiring.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch the documentary behind it, it's kind of something that he's planned for a while. There's definitely like a lot of really bad like franchisement for Evangelion because it's in like Nikkei, it's in like it's on your mom's refrigerator or whatever, like your mom's refrigerator computer. But this is not part of that like franchisement. It definitely feels more needed, except
I will
for the first
trust your judgment on this.
movie. Okay.
What is your favorite mega anime? Let us move on. Oh wait, no, that was yours.
That was yours. What's
Sorry,
yours?
I was so caught up in the fact that you were telling your opinions. On it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, that's not your favorite. Okay, I'll just do mine, and then we'll quickly move on.
Mhm.
I said one before this, and it was a gag, but then I decided against it for a couple reasons. I put Attack on Titan because, haha, it is a mecha anime.
Wait, dude, I'm down.
Is it not?
I am so
Is it
down.
not?
Dude, the guys are in giant meat suits.
Yeah, I was about to
I'm
say.
so down.
At what point is a mecha suit?
Wait.
At what point does it say it has to be a metal robot?
Right,
What
like,
about a
you're right.
bioengineered
He doesn't.
robot?
They don't become the.
No, it is an
No.
It's
extension.
controlled. You
Yeah.
are so.
Look,
It is. It is
No,
meat suit.
hear me out. Pregnant women are mechas. And the baby
Oh
is
my
piloting.
God.
Well,
The baby is Shinjin. He's piloting the pregnant woman.
yeah. That's what I said at first because, haha, it is funny. And also, I really like the anime. But I decided to change my answer for a couple reasons. And I said Gurren Lagann.
Okay.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I feel like that's just a very solid choice.
Yeah.
I will admit, not finished watching it, which I feel like I have said for most of these.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've probably seen about half, and from the beginning, I really loved it. I watched this at a time when I was younger. I was kind of weird about watching anime. I was weird about certain things that might happen. I stopped watching it at first because the red-haired girl didn't fall. It wasn't the main.
Yoko. Yeah.
Light spoilers
Yoko
for the very early episodes. It was sort of playing it up as the main character, the younger, shorter kid, is in love with the red-haired girl, and then turns out the red-haired girl is actually in love with the older, taller guy. Which I was like, "What? You're telling me that they don't get together? I'm gonna stop watching it." And yeah,
The first time you ever witnessed NTR.
Oh my God.
it kind of felt like that. I was like, man, that sucks. And then I was like, you know what? It was really good though. I'll give it another chance. And I was like, oh, it turns out the older, taller brother is my favorite character. So this is fine.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
fine. Yeah, but I still need to finish it. But it's such a great anime, and anyways, I honestly
Should we-
don't have that much to say about it.
Should we
let's
go
just-
for 4?
No,
we
absolutely not. Look at the time. Look at the time.
1:13.
Yeah, we're so far beyond what I was expecting. We have to get to the questions.
It's because I was
Okay.
rambling about Korra and,
Yeah.
and soap in
Oh,
the
yeah,
cities.
yeah.
Which is perfectly fine because
I
that's
never
what
thought
we're
we'd
here
be
for.
talking about soap on JARScast, but here we are.
Yeah, who would have thought 3 anime fans would talk about soap? Huh, get it?
Ah.
I am joking.
What's that have to do with the FBI?
I don't know.
'Cause
Wrong
we're
way.
anime
For
fans.
for those who do not realize we have a soundboard, I feel like we've not brought this up. So you pressing that must have been quite the scare.
Yeah.
A scare. Haha, get it?
Wait.
Thank you.
Spooky.
Press the rim job button.
I'm sorry, what?
The
Huh?
rim job button.
What?
It's a joke. There's a button on there that was called rim shot.
Just so you know, that is the that is what a rim shot.
No,
refers
no.
to, right?
I guess they got it wrong because it's like the sound of someone hitting the rim of like a basketball hoop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have borrowed a mixer that has a soundboard, and it had a bunch of preloaded sounds on it, and lots of them were sports based.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
moving on. We have to get to the question of the day before we run out of day.
Questions of the day.
We're gonna run out of day soon. It's literally 11:44 right now.
Oh my God.
Bruh.
We need to we need to get this over with. Okay. So the question, we actually have 2 questions of the day because they were both, I couldn't pick between the 2.
Mhm.
So number 1, if you were to swap lives with one anime character, specifically anime character, who would it be and why? Do we have any immediate answers? Because I don't.
Any harm protagonist.
No.
You will die. I don't know if you've watched those shows, but those guys often go through a lot of physical trauma.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, to Loveru, that man should be dead.
and the
Wait,
guy from
I think people have commented in the manga itself. They're like, it seems that the laws of physics don't apply to you anymore.
Yeah, or
that's-
like Heaven's Lost Property.
Oh my
that
God.
man has died multiple times.
and Rosario Vampire. That guy.
Yeah, that guy's done for.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all dead.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to?
Yes, I'm sure.
Do you have one?
I'm sure.
I'm trying to find the most normal one out of all of them.
Not just normal. It has to be beneficial in some way to you.
Beneficial in some.
Yeah. You want to be here. You're not picking from the lesser of 2 evils.
I don't think they exist. Oh, you know what? No. You know what? I do have one. So I actually have a role model of sorts.
Yeah.
So there is a character from Denpa Kyoshi. It is called, I think the translation would be like electrifying teacher or whatever.
Oh,
And the main character, Junichiro Kagami,
Yeah.
is a physics teacher. And so it is actually a harem.
Wait, June?
Yeah,
Whoa.
it is so it is a harem anime, but I'm actually not interested in that parts. I'm mostly interested in his life of being a published scientist and also B, like teaching physics to kids. That is the life I want. I really just want to like teach.
Yeah.
Right. And I really like his style of hands-on style of like engaging teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
You just want to be a teacher.
I just
I want
You know
to
what?
be a teacher.
Fair enough.
I have a real answer.
Okay.
I would be Kazuma.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
That man,
Dude,
yes.
that man has literally died multiple times.
No, hear me out. It's confirmed afterlife. There's a confirmed afterlife.
I mean, there's that in a lot of anime.
Yeah, and you get
want
to
to be sent there immediately.
and you
and
get
then
to
sent
like
back every other episode.
yeah.
Okay, here's what I will ask. At what point do you want to swap lives? Pre isekai or post isekai?
Post isekai.
So you're already in the trio of blue, red, and
yeah.
Okay.
First time he passes away, I will skip that part. But
When he
all
dies
the
in a
other
very
times,
embarrassing
yeah.
manner.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I would not. You are a brave soul. If I were to be practical about things, I think I would pick. I think it is Sewa Yaki Kitsune Senko-san.
Oh,
Oh,
Senko.
The
yeah,
helpful fox Senko.
Yeah.
yeah, I also would like to be spoiled every day by a by
that
a
is
god, a
very
kitsune god.
understandable.
I could be
Yeah.
Kobayashi and Miss Kobayashi's dragon.
You would
maid.
die.
You
So
would
why do
die.
you keep picking ones where you die in?
He's like, dude, I want to be sent to attack on Titans. It's like,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
I'd like to be Aaron
Huh?
Yeager. He seems like a cool guy. Why?
Kobayashi seems pretty like safe though.
In Kobayashi's world or Kobayashi?
Kobayashi.
Okay.
I
Like-
guess so.
He wants to be a male lesbian.
Let's go.
So
let's go.
straight. Fair
I
enough.
instead of being a 6 foot tall white man, I want to be a Japanese lesbian.
Mid-30s.
Yeah, mid-30s Japanese lesbian.
Yeah,
That's
no,
the
I
life
would,
for me.
I would pick Cinco because I just chilling.
Yeah.
Like, is
Being
it
chilling.
is it? It's not particularly fantastical, but
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because fantastical also comes with danger,
Yeah.
extreme danger of which I am not prepared for.
Yeah.
Who's better, Cinco or the one one
Shiro.
with the white hair and the big forehead?
Shiro.
Yeah.
No comment.
No
Or is it-
comment.
No,
Or
it's
the
no
big
better.
fox. The big fox.
Oh, Sora.
Yeah.
You know your foxes.
I haven't seen it in a
Yeah.
very long time.
Dude, I love this anime. What do you mean?
Okay.
I haven't seen it since it came out. That's how long
Is
it's
it
been.
Sora or Yozora? I
forgot.
don't remember. Anyways, so you choose every single one where someone dies a horrific death if it were
Maybe.
realistic. You picked.
I picked a teacher.
Being a teacher, just
Hello.
a regular person.
I just
You-
want to be on. I didn't. I
No,
like
no.
excluded the romance.
No, you you literally picked a job.
I will be a lesbian.
you picked being a lesbian. You picked being.
I picked an
You picked
occupation.
a career.
Yeah.
And I picked being spoiled by a god.
No, but you picked the businessman being spoiled by a fox. And the
Yeah,
funniest part
that's
is that like,
Well, I'm
I-
already depressed.
Yeah.
I've already embodied this
The
man.
thing is that at least both of us, I don't know about you, but both of us both picked careers. And because I picked an occupation, you picked an occupation of business, whatever, business tree.
indirectly.
And then Catrim over here is just vibing.
It's like I want the one where
No,
I
wait.
wanna-
No, he's also
a
a coder.
salary-
Yeah, he's a software engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot Kobayashi has that job.
She's CS, bro.
No, and I think both of you are actually very similar because it's like you're both like having like very mundane
Yeah.
occupations.
We
That
we all picked a life of mundane.
this is so sad.
I
Dude, is this capitalism?
Yeah,
Is this-
you picked a mundane job. You
Aw.
picked a mundane job with a bunch of girlfriends. I picked a
with a bunch
mundane
of
job
lesbians.
with
a fox.
with a kind god
Yeah.
giving me food and happiness.
and happiness and fwa fwa.
Fua, fua,
Fua,
yes.
fua.
Fwa
Tail,
Tail.
ears,
Tail.
give me.
fwa.
Okay.
Okay.
Second question. Let's go. We're actually gonna beat last episode's record of how long this is.
Oh yeah, it's
Great.
almost movie length.
Yeah, we have surpassed that. Second question: is it worth owning physical media, e.g., manga, anime discs,
Depends.
etc.? I
Um,
say yes.
Yes.
I personally yes, but this is also a very personal question. It varies from person to person, right?
Yeah.
So-
So they have their pros and cons, but I will say, especially in recent years, the pros of digital media were initially price. You can get a lot more for a lot less. Convenience, instant access at any place and any time. Doesn't take up space. But in recent days, I suppose not so much with anime and manga, but like in general, streaming services and online platforms suck ass. They're so
Yeah.
bad. They're not cheap anymore. They're
They
hardly
get-
more convenient because there's so many of them.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know?
This is also a symptom of late stage capitalism.
Yes. Instead of buying nothing, I would like to buy something.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and I think because a lot of it is like pirated stuff, then they've become slowly commercialized over the years with like big corporations like Crunchyroll, Funimation, all these large
R.I.P.
corporations.
Funimation, the last bastion of hope.
Yeah,
We still have High Dive.
Yeah.
Yay! But we got High Dive. Come on.
I miss VRV. That was a good platform.
Yeah.
And then and then Crunchyroll consumed Funimation, and we lost the fun.
And then they
I-
broke up.
I think something that is now nostalgic for me is seeing the Funimation like logo thing play out in front of each
Oh my
episode.
God, so
The, like,
sad.
boom, boom, boom.
It's so sad,
Dude, that's so.
It hurts me right in the kokoro.
So
Yeah,
I'm about to red pill you all.
Oh God. Okay.
not on a podcast. With 3 guys.
I am very pro physical media
Yeah.
because like if you think about like so much of the stuff that I watch is like taken away, and like so much stuff that's like it one day it's on a streaming service, next day it's gone. And plus, you don't even like own the things that you have, really.
Yeah, you are paying for you're renting media,
Yeah.
and once that money is gone and you stop subscribing, you don't own anything. You've paid
Yeah.
money and you've technically gained nothing.
Yeah.
And
Whereas physical media, until that thing breaks somehow, you have it for good.
Yeah.
And then, like what you said, streaming platforms can at any moment pull it off the shelf, and that does not mean that it is then going to be restocked somewhere else or put out for free or something. No, it's just gone.
Yeah.
Like if some massive corporation owns an IP, but it doesn't think it, if it doesn't find it valuable to release that somewhere or to give or to sell it to someone else, it's just gone indefinitely.
Yeah.
Until the whims of the higher ups decide, we can make a remake out of this.
Yeah.
We'll put it out.
it's kind of crazy because like it's definitely kind of scary because like people don't really buy even digital media anymore. I mean, like we don't buy digital music anymore.
Yeah,
We don't really buy movies
stream
anymore.
it. We subscribe to it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And even when you buy, this is something that's happened with games recently, where you will buy a game, you will purchase and own a game, and then they will remove it from the online store, and you lose access to it. It's like, did I not just buy a game?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. You bought access to a game.
Yeah. And if you, it's
is
different.
insane.
It's different from like buying like a Blu-ray or something because you'll
Yeah.
have that thing until
They
it
can't.
breaks
They
in
can't
half.
update it
Yeah.
to
We
turn it
yeah,
off.
yeah.
We've become a society of renters and debtors rather than any
Yeah, it's
meaningful
rough.
ownership, and it's tragic.
Yeah.
You will own nothing and be happy. You will eat the bugs.
Easy bugs.
You will be happy.
No.
No.
I one thing I do encourage people, or at least I encourage myself and my friends, is that basically when you find good manga or whatever or anime, to like, if you really want it or want to read it for later, I just download it.
Yeah.
Right, and then I think
Unfortunately, you have to do that by legally gray, if not worse means. There is no official platform that will let you download a movie or a show or even
And keep
manga.
it. Yeah.
you have to
You
buy
have to
it.
buy it physically.
No,
even
you
if
can't. You actually can't in the US. You're right.
even if you can,
Yeah.
even if you get like Amazon Kindle, I don't
No,
know how
you can't.
buying
You- I-
digital.
I
it
think-
doesn't let you download it. You
No.
just have
You
it on their
ac-
service.
It's access.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
It's
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
nothing.
It's,
You
it's
bought
all encrypted. So even if you do download it, like if you want to download an album off Spotify, then you can't really do anything with
Yeah,
it.
it's
'cause
like a
encrypted.
Spotify
We should
file.
Go
Yeah.
back
You
to
can't
the
use-
era of VHS cassettes.
True.
Seriously.
Honest to God.
Burnable.
Yeah.
media,
But
yeah.
physical, ownable, thing you can hold
Yeah.
in your hand and
And-
be like, yes, I
Yeah.
have this.
No, I have
Mhm.
multiple bookshelves
Yeah.
of manga light novels. I have a shelf
Yeah.
of
Same.
games. I have
Yeah.
a shelf of movies,
Yeah.
and I am proud.
Yeah.
They're also just there's also, in my opinion, this is just a me thing.
Mhm.
I find the process and the quote unquote inconvenience of physical media to be
Mhm.
charming and an experience that I find worthwhile.
Yeah.
I feel
Mhm.
like this is why people love vinyl,
Yes.
Yeah,
why
yeah.
people collect CDs.
Yes.
There's the tangible and inconvenient aspects of physical media I find to be like
Mhm.
I don't know, charming is not
It's
the greatest word to describe it, but
cathartic. Like
maybe.
holding like physical media in your hand is different from me being on my tablet being like, I guess I'll read Homer's The Odyssey on this big fucking machine.
Yeah, and
it doesn't feel
there
the
is,
same.
There is that aspect of whenever I used to boot up Netflix, whenever I used to open Netflix, back when I had a subscription, when I could afford it, I would just get paralyzed because there's suddenly you have access to 1 million movies and shows. Pick one. Good luck.
Yeah.
And you're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and eventually you never watch something because you've just scrolled for half an hour looking for the right thing to watch. Whereas if you buy physical, you have a shelf. You have like 100 movies.
It's also the ease of access, right?
It's too easy.
It's too easy. It's like if I want to start, like if I want to read something that I don't own, I have to go up and find it, and then it's a pain in the ass to go find it.
It's like fast food.
It's fast food.
Like it's tough to cook and make your own burger, but I find it to be very worthwhile. Whereas you could just go out to McDonald's, pay a little bit, eat McDonald's food, and do that forever.
Yeah,
and be sad.
This might be like a controversial statement, but I feel like streaming has just kind of like okayed so much more garbage content that you never would have seen.
That is not controversial at all.
Yeah, because like well, this is the controversial part. I feel like the only thing good on Netflix anymore is anime. The only good thing on there is anime now, because all the Western stuff I see on there, I'm like, wow. This has like 40% out of 100 Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not gonna fucking watch this.
I used to think this, but after looking through a lot of older media, because I like 80s and 90s movies, there was a lot of schlock back then too. It's just whenever it was really bad, no one bought it, so you just wouldn't see it anywhere. Whereas on Netflix, if they make it, they can put it on the front page as much as they want.
Yeah.
You know, so. We just have easier access to stuff nobody wants.
Yeah.
So it feels like there's just more garbage. Whereas I don't necessarily think there's more garbage. I just think personally there's just less good things coming out.
Just a big magnifying glass on the bad. I guess you could say. Yeah.
I feel like we've answered that quite well.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before I force us to wrap up because we've gone on for a while. Anything?
Listen here, liberals. You will buy the anime books. You will buy the manga. You will buy the Blu-rays. You will buy the figures because it will be taken away from you one day by big corporate upstairs.
You will purchase the $20 undownloadable PDF.
Yeah,
and you will like it.
You will only be able to watch Shonen Slop and eat bugs the rest of your life.
And yes, we will only upload every other volume of this manga to our site. To get the other stuff, you'll have to download this other.
Yeah, I think it's just really bad here in the U.S. It's terrible. I think from what I've heard, it's a lot better in Japan because there is a huge secondhand market for like cheap media, physical media, and physical books.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it's what the condition is, if it's getting better, getting worse.
I think part of it is that they just treat their old stuff a lot better than we do.
Yeah.
We have a bad habit of just, first of all, throwing things away.
Yeah.
But also just not treating our media very well.
Yeah.
Like whenever I go to secondhand stores, most discs are scratched as hell.
Yeah.
Or like books are just yellowed.
Yeah. All the harem books
and it has the very scratched sticker on it.
Yeah. All the harem like manga I buy is like extra sticky when you get from.
Don't make us end on that note. Does anybody have anything funny to say to counteract that?
Now I feel bad.